Hi there, James here for Phoenix Arts Martial Arts, covering our self-defense content. So I've covered the three questions for the mindset. I've covered the designation of instigator and attacker as opposed to attacker and defender. And I've also covered our to-do list. We call it a shopping list, to-do list, shopping list, which is you start with hit them and then you want to go to learn how to injure them as soon as possible. So what I want to cover is some things that you may experience during what's called a fight, flight, or freeze situation. Now, the thing with this is to know that it's all natural, normal, and okay. The reason your body does it are all for very specific reasons. So the fact that you're going to experience them, yes, it can be off-putting, it can rattle you, but you need to know it's okay. And by knowing it's okay, it becomes like, oh, this is just a thing that will happen. Okay? So in the fight, flight, or freeze, you're going to have an adrenaline dump. Now, this adrenaline dump, there's different kinds of adrenalines or hormones that I was taught, but we'll just call it an adrenaline dump. So you're going to have an adrenaline dump. Your heart rate's going to go up through the roof. Your breathing is going to become shallow. You're going to become pale and clammy. The paleness is because your blood is going away from, it's called vasoconstriction. It's going away from your outside so that if you're cut, you won't bleed as much. It's also why you become clammy. It's so that things slip off you. Okay, so there are reasons for everything that's happening. You'll get dry or cotton mouth. You'll get tunnel vision. This is a freaky one. So if you cup your hands like this, and like that's kind of like that's it. You'll get tunnel vision. You will only be able to see what is inside this tunnel. Okay. Now this one I didn't know about. I'd never heard anyone talk about it until I experienced it myself. You will get tunnel hearing. So I could not hear anything outside of this scope. So I had the stimulus, the threat stimulus in front of me, and I had a loved one right here, so like right near my ear, and they were not being quiet. I could not hear them, and the only reason I heard them was because I was able to, for a moment, do a scan. They came in within my vision. I heard them. It was, at the time, I kind of like took note of it, and then afterwards, like, wow, okay. So all those things happen for a reason. You may evacuate your bowels as well, and the reason you do that is because the content of your bowels is poisonous to your body. If your bowels, your bladder, you get punctured, then the poison seeps into your body, and you die from poisoning. So everything your body does is for a reason, for your survival. So once again, the vasoconstriction, pale and clammy, is so that if you get cut, you bleed less, you slip more. Don't actually know too much. I couldn't find the reason so much about the tunnel vision hearing, but I did notice that with the tunnel vision, it was like my vision was a lot more pronounced. It's hard to describe. The vision was better. It was like anything in there my brain was picking up. Okay, and what will happen with the adrenaline's there, sort of like, it's like what people sometimes call like beast mode. It's to get you like rah, to be able to attack is the fight, or to be able to get you to run, which is the flight. Okay, the freeze part sucks, and that part you can kind of there's a workaround for that. I'll share that another time. But so fight or flight is that, and the freeze is the shock, and you need to like pump into something. You need to like, oh, I need to attack. I need to fight. The two-word answer, because we assume that you can't run. To use your physical skills, we already assume that you can't talk or run your way out of it. Okay, or all the exits are sealed. So we always assume that for you to use your physical tools, those things have happened. We do not resolve conflict of like, oh, I don't like your hair, by elbowing someone in the face. It's not how you do it. Okay, so all these things are natural, normal, and okay. Now, they can put you to the extreme. So like the breathing up here with the adrenaline going can tax you real quick because it's like a huge spike of energy and then you just drop hard. So which is why I say to everyone, like whenever you notice you're getting stressed, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a like a fight situation or a test or anything like that, you just need to breathe. That whole kind of you need to breathe thing, as annoying as it can sometimes be when you're in that state, to hear like you just need to breathe, that's actually what you need to do. You need to get some oxygen in there so that you can help your blood and get the oxygen and do what it's got to do, so you don't thin the blood and get dizzy. Okay. Now the thing about that extra dump of adrenaline is you can also lose your fine motor skills, which means most martial art techniques go out the window. Just bye-bye. All those fancy wrist lock special doohickey moves, out the window. And I love those movements. They're fun to train, they have so many benefits, and they move into what we call art defense. And I'll do a video on that another day. And they move into art defense, but for like real world right now defense, you need movements that don't require fine motor skills to start with. You need gross motor skills, because you're going to be able to thrust your arms forward and swing. You're going to be able to turn your waist. You're going to be able to lift your knee up and stomp your so lift your knee high and stomp your feet down strongly. So those in the worst kind of experience of it, you're going to always be able to do that, and so that's why you only need 6 movements with your body to be able to really to defend yourself, and anything else is just add-on. You can still do strikes, breaks, throws, and takedowns while your body's in that zone. Okay, you can do all those things with gross motor skills. You don't need the fine motor skill, advanced martial art stuff that you see out there. You don't need it to defend yourself. It's good to practice, it's good to learn, but you don't need it. It almost gets in the way if you try and do something fancy, and it's not going to work. I'll show you something on like knife defense another time, but my very first knife defense, I was supposed to like catch them and do something like that. We know observably that would have got me killed in a real fight. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do that stuff, and it's not how real interaction will work. So when you're afraid, and you may not have ever entered into a situation where you have to defend your life, but you have, most of us have at some point experienced fight, flight, or freeze, and it could be anything from you almost got hit by a car, or you're driving a car and you almost ran into something, or you sat down for a test, or that kind of thing. You can have those same experiences, and so you can offset all of them by breathing, and then also by breathing, and then training a skill set that you can use in that situation. Okay, or training yourself to be comfortable in your discomfort, and that's what we try and train. You're not going to be able to train for every situational scenario, because there's an infinite lot of scenarios, but you can always train yourself to be comfortable in your discomfort and know about what your body can do, and then move from there. So if you ever find yourself, just remember to breathe. If you find yourself going cold and clammy, your mouth going dry, you get tunnel vision, tunnel hearing, you got the shakes, the adrenaline's pumping, your body feels like weird and like you can only, like you're moving through molasses kind of thing. It's natural, normal, and okay. Okay, our body's designed to do it. Breathe, move, take action, and if your training's right, let your training do its job. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for letting me share with you fight, flight, or freeze, and what your body goes through in such a situation. If you have any questions, please feel free to write below or reach out to us. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the little notification button. And thank you very much for letting me share with you Phoenix Arts martial arts self-defense content.